Hello and welcome once again. Today I want to discuss and to clear up some confusion about digital multimeters, this being the specific Fluke 83. All digital multimeters are essentially the same. This is something called auto range. I discussed this in previous videos, but I had so many emails about the confusion of the fuses being blown and how to use the function keys. So I thought it would be appropriate to go over it one more time. Now, we all know the basic three functions of a meter. For voltage, whether it's DC volts or AC volts. For resistance, this is the omega symbol, the resistance. And also for current. This is amps, so this is for current. Now, when you come over here, the question was, how do I know which slot to put the probes in? This is the probe. Which slot to put in the probes? Now, this is a little tricky. Obviously, if you're going to measure, let's say, DC volts, which ones are we going to use? We all know that for DC voltage, we always use the red ones for positive, the negative ones for ground, which is the black one. Okay? Now, the question was, for DC volts or AC volts, which one do I use? So, as you see over here, the display over here, the symbol, V is for volts, omega sign, the unit of measurement is ohms for resistance, and a diode function. We'll get to that later. So, it does not specify over here if this is for DC volts or AC volts. What does that mean? That means I can use this port for both. If it doesn't specify either a DC volts or an AC volts, that means I can use it for either one for both. As opposed to, this is the range selector switch. This one, you see the symbol? This is DC. It's a flat voltage. No variation. Therefore, this is DC. This one is AC. You see the voltage, the symbol for it, meaning amplitude is changing. You do not see this symbol here by this. That tells you I can use this port either for DC or for AC. Okay? And also for what? For resistance. So here's resistance. When I put this in resistance, the red one here, black one always stays here. And I put the function, the selector on this. We'll get that later. Now, the tricky part is the current. Okay? Now, we followed the line, so that's why I chose this type of meter. Between this one and this one, when we're measuring what? Volts, ohms, and diode function. You're going to have the black one here, and we also said the red one here. So we already discussed that. I want to measure amps. I want to take out a fuse in a circuit in automotive, and I want to measure the current going through it. The fuse tells me it's a 20 amp rated fuse. I want to put the meter in place of that fuse. Can I do that? Yes, because I'm putting it in series. Now, which one do I use? 400 milliamps or microamps is between here and here. You see the two white lines? It denotes or represents, I use these two ports for milliamps or microamps, but on the condition it's 400 milliamps. It does not go above 400 milliamps, the circuit that I am testing. So if the circuit that I'm testing is 200 milliamps, am I safe to use it? Yes, you are. If the circuit I'm using is 800 milliamps, is that safe to use it? No. It can only go up to 400 milliamps. So what do? Go up to the next port. So this one would be into this one. Now, let's say I'm measuring a circuit. Let's say a blower motor in automotive. Sometimes they take up 30 amps depending on the speed. I want to take out that fuse. I want to put this in series to measure how much current I am measuring through that circuit. Can I do that? Yes. What do? Let's say over here, follow the lines. One line will be what? Negative. This will always stay here. The other one is going to go where? So this red one will go into this port. Amps. Okay? So therefore, the circuit can only be used up to what? 10 amps maximum. Let's say I have a blower motor. It goes up to 30 amps, okay, at full speed. Which one of these ports do you think I can use? You know you can't use this one. Why? Because this is only for volts and ohms. So that's out of the question. Can I use milliamps? No. I need 30 amps. Can I use this one? If you said yes, you're wrong. What did we just say? We just said that this can only go up to 10 amps. Correct? If I want to measure 30 amps, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to blow the fuse. If I want to measure 8 amps, can I use this? Yes. If I want to measure 6 amps, can I use this? Yes. How about 12 amps? No. You'll blow the fuse. So that might be happening when the viewer asks me that question. Always pay attention to this. Now, let's get to the other question. Is this for DC or AC? These ports, these are for both. Again, same rule applies. If it doesn't say DC or AC, you can use this port for both. Okay? So, here we go. DC. Here's milliamps. Okay? We just said this is for DC by the line. We just said this is for AC by the wavy line. We just said this is for what? DC. We just said this is for ohms and continuity, which we'll get to. Look at over here. You have two functions over here. You have both DC and both AC for milliamps and amps. For this one, what? We have again DC and AC for what? For microamps. Let's put it on that function. Let's see what it's talking about. Okay? This is on what? DC volts. This is now on what? AC millivolts. Okay? Now, let's put it on ohms. This is what? On ohms. The question was asked if I can measure 20,000 ohms with a meter. You can measure up to what? 40 mega ohms. 40 million ohms. So absolutely you can measure 20,000 ohms. You'll never need this to measure 40 million ohms. Next, what did we just discuss? Diode function. Okay, now DC volts for diode. We'll get back to that. Now, DC milliamps. Okay, this function is for both. How do I know I want to put it on AC volts? How do I do that? Well, you see these blue symbols? Blue, blue? What do you think this blue button is for? Take a guess. We're right now on what? DC amps or milliamps. Guess what? Now it just changed it to AC milliamps. So when it specifies AC or DC or AC, we can use this one both, as I just showed you. But when the blue one is here, that means the blue you hit the blue key over here, it'll change it. Let's go to the next one. DC amps, correct? How do we change it? How do I change this from DC amps to AC amps? AC amps. Okay? Okay? That's why this is the best meter. Now we're going to do some measurements to show what we're talking about. As you can see, there's a minimum, maximum. There's an average. There's a range. There's a relative ohms for ohms, hertz. Let's go do some measurements. Okay? If I want to measure DC volts, which one do I put it on again? If you said this one, you're correct. If you're not sure, that's why I love this meter. It even tells you DC volts. If I put it on AC volts, and I wanted to measure DC volts, and I look at this, I said, uh-oh, I'm on the wrong range. I have to select another one. And that's the right one. So you can't really make a mistake with this type of meter. Okay? Now, like I said, I want to do some measurements and show you AC voltage. Okay, we're measuring AC volts. How do I know? AC volts. Now, question, do I need this function? Do I need to measure AC volts if I'm working in automotive? Yes, you do. Why? Generator gives out a DC output, right? It's actually an AC generator, but it is, by diodes, it is changed to DC voltage. There are some vehicles that have inverters, okay? Inverter is something that obviously, let's say you can plug in your AC AC outlet to charge your phone in that outlet. So it takes the DC battery, it changes it to AC battery, AC voltage. So you do need this function of AC volts if you work in automotive. Some cars have an inverter. So which one do I put it on? This is the correct one. Now, here's another case. What two measurements do I have to measure when I measure AC voltage? Which two measurements are important? We all know we have to measure the AC voltage. Let's say there was a blackout in your house. Okay, let's say the power came back on. I go to the outlet after I put the circuit breaker on, and I measure the AC voltage. This is AC what? RMS, not peak to peak, not average, and that's a different topic, but this is RMS. So we know I have 121 volts from the outlet. That means power is back on after there was a power outage, correct? What other function do I have to test to make sure that my outlet is working correctly? Okay? Take a guess. Now, this represents hertz. Hertz is frequency, the unit of measurement for frequency. We are in North America, we have to have 120 volts RMS and 60 hertz, North America. Other countries might be 50 hertz. We are just concerned about we have to have 60 hertz. Okay? That is a must that you have to measure not just 120 volts RMS, but 60. Make sure you measure 60 hertz. Is this close enough to 60 hertz? Yes, it is. 59.9 is close enough. So by me, that's good enough. The electric company is giving me the right frequency and the right voltage. Let's say this would be 57 hertz. Let's say it would be 58 hertz. Not good enough. Not good enough. That means your electric company is cheating you. You have to call your electric company and say, you know what? The frequency that I measured is not 60 hertz. It is essential, and it is many people, they just measure the outlet and say 120 volts, it's good. No, you have to have 60 hertz. Everything works on 60 hertz. A must. Okay? Let's get to another measurement now. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're measuring. Now we're going to measure a fuse, 50 amp fuse. Which function is the correct one? We said ohms is the correct one. Ohms is the symbol, so we know we're on the right range. We're measuring ohms. Now, how much should a good fuse measure? Well, let's say 1 ohm, 2 ohms, doesn't matter, even though this is fluctuating. We just said before, continuity. When do we use continuity, and do we need continuity function in automotive? I'm working anyway on cars, and as you know, obviously, do I need that function? Let's put that function on. Which of these functions do you think, this is the right here, which ones do you think I press from these keys? Now, you hear an audible sound. Here's the symbol right here. Okay, that means it is giving me a measurement that the circuit is complete. The fuse is complete, it is intact, or the wire, the jumper that I'm measuring is intact, but it's giving me an audible sound, a beep. That helps me because I don't have to look at the meter as I am measuring the fuse. I'm just listening for the beep, which you hear obviously. So if I have 20, 30 fuses that I'm measuring in the fuse box, I just put the probe to it and then listen for the beep. If I don't hear a beep, okay, let's say I don't hear the beep, I have it on continuity. What do you think is wrong? That means the fuse is open. Now, another question. When I use this function, when I use the ohms function, I want to measure the actual ohms of what? Of the resistor or the component that I'm measuring. I want to know an accurate measurement, whatever that is. When I do the continuity, I'm not worried about how many ohms that component is measuring. All I want is an audible sound so I can do it quickly and don't have to look at the meter every single time to look if it's open or closed. That's when you use that function. A very convenient function to use in automotive when you're testing fuses and other things. Okay? Now, the hold function, as we spoke about before, This is on hold. What does it mean? Hold means you're putting it in memory. So the last measurement that it detects, okay, will put it in memory. When I take the probe away, it will hold it in memory. I don't need to put the probe on that. Hold on. Okay, as you can see, I don't have anything connected to it. There is nothing connected to the probe. Yet the whole function tells me when I measured the fuse, I measured 3 ohms, which is good. When do I need this function, and do I need it for automotive? Yes, you do. Why? Let's say you're in a very narrow, or as you know, there's not too much space in automotive, especially vans, express vans, and all type of vans. You want to touch something. You want to touch something, make contact. You want to make contact with the component you're measuring and take away the probe. That's enough for this to hold it in memory, so you don't have to keep on holding that probe. I said this a couple times in videos, but I think this is the most important to stress that point. So these functions are needed in automotive. So amps and milliamps, like we said before you understand this selector, you have to understand where to put these probes. If you put in the wrong probe, in this type of meter, if you put it in milliamps and are measuring volts, it will beep and tell you made a mistake. You put it in the wrong slot. That's what's great about Fluke. But other digital multimeters will not tell you that. So that's why this is one of the best, and it's going down in price if you get it used. Sometimes they are expensive, $500, $600. If you're really thinking about going into automotive, it's a great investment. But if you're just doing it for yourself, obviously get a used one and you'll be happy with it. But the point is, multimeters, they have to be calibrated. So you have to make sure that when you measure something, when you measure DC volts and it measures 12 volts from the battery, it's giving you an accurate measurement. So in industries and other places, you send it out for calibration. A company does calibration on all equipment, oscilloscopes, analyzers, any generators, or even soldering stations. If the soldering station says 700 degrees, I want to make sure it's 700 degrees and not 800 degrees. Otherwise, you burn components. So calibration is needed, and to make sure it is accurate, they put a sticker on it. They do an inspection, just like they do an inspection on your car. And that way you know, if I'm measuring 12 volts, the component measuring is 12 volts. Otherwise, you'll get inaccurate measurements. Just a side point. But anyway, I hope this helped you a little. Like I said, this is auto meter. You don't have to select 200 volts, 20 volts, 10 volts. But it is pricey up there in price, obviously. So you make that judgment. But remember, first select the right slot. Then you select this. Okay? Remember. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel, Joe Electronic Schematics for Auto. The book that I always use is called Automotive Technology, A Systems Approach. And like I said, hopefully we'll be doing more hands-on like this. I'll show you the right booster. I'll show you other things with hands-on. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.